Hey, have you ever been a part of a meeting or a business meeting where things just got completely out of hand? I mean, Robert and his rules of order just did not show up. Well, the thing that brings order to that chaos is called a moderator. Does it seem like our nation needs a moderator right about now? Okay, so we're going to engage this from 1, 2, 3 different directions. Let me start with the first one. As opposed to. Moderation seen as opposed to. So it's as opposed to things like radicalism, extremism, fanaticism, racing to the margins and being the complete opposite of everyone else. Moderation is a middle starting point. And so that's where we want to begin our discussions, our arguments, our debates, is go to that middle starting point. And from there, now you can listen to understand one another. Now let's say this together. Listen to understand. Try it again, okay? Listen to understand. If we can do that, then when we approach other people, we're not doing it from a fanatical, radical, extremist opposite. We're going to that middle position starting point and engaging and hearing one another. There's a book by Dr. Les Parrott. It's Les Parrott, and it's called 3 Seconds. For me, it's more like 10 seconds, but what Dr. Parrott's getting across is this idea: before you respond, before you react, take a few seconds and ponder, think about it. That's the first idea of moderation. Listen, there's a proverb that says, there's no one as deaf as the man who does not listen. Listen to understand one another. That's the first point of being a moderate understander. Second point today is that you cannot moderate that which is wrong. You can't moderate sin. It's just sin. Check it out. You can't be a moderate porn user. You're just a sinful porn user. You got to stop that. You can't be a moderate meth user. No, man, that you're just a meth user and it's wrong. It's got to stop. Hey, you can't be a moderate animal abuser, and you can't be a moderate racist. Racism is wrong in every context, in every culture, and in every direction. It's just antithetical to the gospel of Jesus Christ. We don't find our identity in our ethnicity or our race or our financial status or our gender. We find our identity in Jesus. Now in the Proverbs, there's a verse, this is Proverbs 25, by the way, and it talks about something that's like a polluted stream. Jesus had mentioned that you can't have a fountain that brings forth both salt water and fresh. And what I want you to understand is you can't moderate that which is inherently wrong, that which is antithetical to the gospel of Jesus. If it's sinful, you can't really moderate that. You just have to get it out. You have to drink from a different well. You have to drink from a different stream. Okay, so for the third point today, what I want to do is go to the book of Philippians, chapter 4, verse 4. It sounds like this. Rejoice in the Lord always, and I'll say it again, rejoice. Let your moderation be known to all. The Lord is near. Now, the reason Paul chose this particular word, moderation, which, by the way, in its original language, the word is epiikes, and the reason you care is that it's the opposite of yippee-ki-yay. So epiikes is basically saying humble, gracious, gentle, friendly, moderate. He's saying take this position when you engage with people. Rather than being the extremist, go to the middle starting point, hear people, love people, be concerned, and be humble. For the Lord is near. Now, here's why he says the Lord is near and why you and I care. If you've ever been in a conversation where somebody's talking like they know it all, and then somebody who actually does know it all walks into the conversation, that person generally gets really quiet. If you've ever been in a room and you know you're not the smartest person in the room, you tend to be a bit more humble, a bit more gracious, a bit more moderate in your statements and not quite so didactic and extreme. So that's what Paul is saying. The Lord is always near you. And listen, if you're a Jesus follower, God is always asking you to act in a way that's humble, that's gracious, that's kind, that's gentle towards other people. So what we've talked about in these 3 approaches today has been, number 1, listen to understand. Be in that middle, beautiful position where you can listen to other people and understand them. Take a few seconds to hear their point of view before you start to state your own. The second point I talked about, and I really hope you got me on this, is you can't moderate wrong. If something is sin, if it's wrong, you can't be moderate about that. It simply has to go away. And particularly right now, whether that's racism or extremism, those things simply have no place in Christian conversation. They simply can't be there. So you have to remove sin rather than moderate it. And then thirdly, and most importantly, is the epikeikes concept, and that's saying, don't be all yippee-ki-yay when you shoot into the conversation with people, but take a moderate, humble, gentle position so that other people can be heard. You can listen to understand, and so can they. Okay, so that's been our thought for this week. I hope it's given you some things to talk about, to discuss, and to debate moderately with one another, and I hope that you'll do that over the course of this week. Let me strongly encourage you to go to the Facebook discussion page and engage the question for the day. It'll give you an opportunity to, in a sense of community, discuss this thing moderately and together. So that's been Thursday Thought for this week. I'm Pastor Shannon. I really appreciate you listening, and we'll talk again next week. Until that time, go in peace.